than the monthly norm. As a consequence, the overloaded dams could not withstand such pressure. At night, when most people were sleeping, the water gushed over the port city of Derna and destroyed a significant part of it to the ground. As of September 15th, it is known that more than 11,000 lives were lost, and over 20,000 people are missing. The city's mayor stated that there are likely many more victims. Many of the bodies of the deceased are still in the sea and amidst the ruins of homes.
Assalamu alaikum. Just now, a man in a car has been swept away by a water flow. We couldn't help him as the water is too strong. Maybe he survived in that car. And another car was swept away now. It'll be good if the police can help. Maybe the man is still alive.
Then we heard an explosion, and water entered populated areas fast. Everything happened fast. Maybe it's God's will.
According to WHO estimates, up to 2 million people in Libya have been affected by the heavy rains. As for the reasons behind such a high number of casualties, experts are currently expressing their opinions cautiously, but almost all point out that for many years, no one paid adequate attention to the condition of the dams. Therefore, when Storm Danielle hit the Libyan coast, the dams failed. The catastrophe in Libya leaves many questions and misunderstandings about what is happening, but what the people had to endure is truly horrifying.
We need to bury dead bodies in groups. Only in one hospital there are 1,000 bodies. Children, women, men, and old people.
Assalamu alaikum. Today, I came back to Derna at 7 in the morning. I've just buried my daughter and her grandmother. My wife is still missing, and I will come back. And with God's help, maybe I will find her here. Maybe she's still under the collapsed house. Takes much work to get people from under collapsed buildings. Many people died. I lost many of my acquaintances.
هذه بنتي الثانية الأولى توفت والثانية هذه حتى توفت رحمة الله عليها.
An equally terrible disaster occurred in Morocco, where a powerful earthquake with a magnitude of about 7 wiped out entire villages in seconds, turning them into one giant pile of rubble. In some places, the damage is so severe that it is impossible to tell where one house begins and another ends. There are no longer streets, in their place are now dangerous narrow passageways amidst the ruins. Due to their geographical location, some villages are difficult to reach, so almost no one is paying attention to them. People are left to face the disaster alone.
I lost everything. I was left alone. My children, I have nothing left. I was working outside the village while my children were at home. When I came back, I saw that everything was gone. My house is destroyed.
My children died from yesterday. The authorities do not allow us to pull them out. And they were not rescued. The helicopter was circling the collapsed house and did not descend to rescue us, despite the call for help.
For those who were injured during the earthquake, life afterwards became a real nightmare. There was no one to provide first aid. The roads blocked by rubble made it impossible to either leave or enter. Eyewitnesses of the event say that help either did not come at all or came late, and that it consisted mainly of food and water, delivered to the mountains in private cars by volunteers from Morocco.
There are areas where neither water nor food has reached. We demand that helicopters be sent to those mountainous areas to deliver water and provisions there.
We demand that bulldozers clear the road and transport people. We only want to open the roads and remove stones that prevent people from moving. We do not want all this fuss, and we don't need an army here.
Many people are becoming increasingly disillusioned due to the lack of government assistance. Some residents shared that they had lost the hope that it would ever arrive. In the current situation, it is absurd that the Moroccan government has not opened its doors to external aid to everyone. Offers of emergency aid were only accepted from 4 countries. The logical question arises, why? Exhausted people have to think on their own how to find shelter and feed their families.
This wall is broken. A huge crack from top to bottom. I am alone. I have no brother, I have no husband, I have only my God. I don't have a place to live. I need somebody to help. You need safety, and there is no house. I don't have anybody in this life. I don't have a father. I don't have a mother. I don't have a brother. I don't have a husband. I have nothing. I have only my God. He is my savior.
Where are the volunteers? No one came to us with shovels and tools to clear the rubble. No one left either a bottle of water or a tent where we could have shelter. Where do we live? Is this an Islamic state? Is this Islam? The smell comes from the corpses. There is no electricity, no food.
We are in real suffering. There is no water, no food, no road, nothing at all. There is the smell of decomposing bodies everywhere, and no one came to help us.
According to official data as of September 15th, about 3,000 people lost their lives and more than 5,500 were injured. A few days after the event, people are sleeping under the open sky, some for fear of aftershocks, and some because they have nowhere else to stay. It is terrible to imagine what will happen when winter comes, if already now in the mountainous areas local residents, especially children, are suffering from a sharp drop in temperature at night.
About 11 o'clock there was an earthquake. People were in their homes, and many were asleep in this house. Everyone was also sleeping, except for the great-grandmother. When the house started shaking, she screamed and woke everyone up with her scream. They ran out of the house, and the house collapsed. It was their great-grandmother who saved them from certain death.
We are suffering from a shortage of medicines, especially from diabetes and blood pressure. Until now we have not received medicines, so we ask the authorities to visit these people from time to time. For all of us Moroccans, there is no other God but Allah.
Since yesterday morning, nothing has been brought to us. No water, no food. Several young men brought us bread. at the moment I've had breakfast. I'm a diabetic. I need to eat and take my medication on time. But there is no food in the shops and we have no money. We can't buy anything.
Many media outlets describe what happened in Morocco and Libya in the most dramatic detail. But almost no one writes about the fact that, unfortunately, such catastrophes will intensify in the coming years. This is such a global and common problem that it can be solved only by united humanity. Yes, now we must all help each other with all our might. But will this solve the problem globally? Thanks to technology, we can prevent earthquakes in advance, provide people with everything they need on time and, if necessary, evacuate them to safer areas in advance. But as long as we remain divided, this is impossible, and so people are left alone to face their trouble. Climate changes are becoming more and more evident in Spain. It was either flooded with rain and hail, or battered by winds. In early September, most of the country was hit by storm system Derna, which had been reported in detail in the previous news episode. But as it turned out, that was just the beginning. Between September 8 and 10, more than 50 towns in Navarra province were affected by a powerful downpour of hail. Carella was hit the hardest. According to the mayor of the town, the natural disaster caused significant damage to crops. "I have never seen hail of this scale in my life," he said, adding that climate change is a reality. Pamplona received as much rainfall in 24 hours as is usually recorded in the first 2 months of autumn. On September 11th, large hailstones caused damage in the province of Biscay. The following day, in the province of Castellón, a squally wind with gusts up to 130 km per hour led to a massive fall of trees in the city of Barriana. According to local residents, it was the first time they encountered such powerful winds. The downpours caused numerous incidents. On the same day, the region of Murcia was affected by heavy rainfall. Flows of muddy water in some places filled the streets of Molina de Segura. On September 15th, intense rainfall forced residents of Madrid and several regions on the Mediterranean coast to change their plans. Due to numerous floods on the roads, a transportation collapse began. There were also reports that a metro station in the capital was flooded. Now let's take a look at events in other countries that occurred during the same period. Due to a powerful downpour and debris flows on September 9th, flooding occurred in the city of Derbent, Republic of Dagestan, Russia. In a short period of time, almost a month's worth of precipitation fell. From September 8 to 11, the remnants of Typhoon Haikui caused flooding in a number of cities in China again. On September 11th, heavy rains triggered dangerous localized flooding in Massachusetts, USA. A state of emergency was declared in the city of Leominster. At the same time, a new eruption of the Kilauea volcano began in Hawaii. Since the beginning of this year, it is erupting for the second time. On September 12th, the cyclone brought heavy rains, squally winds and large hail to the Phoenix area in Arizona, USA. On the same day, heavy rains flooded the streets of Maastricht in the Netherlands. Looking at all those catastrophes that fall on the planet, the question arises, why is this happening? The reason for this progression lies in the destabilization of the planet's core, due to the poorly understood radiation from space. This new additional energy leads to an increase in the core temperature and affects magma flows, which, as they move towards the Earth's surface, create faults, trigger earthquakes, and heat up oceanic waters. The heating of the ocean increases the amount of evaporated water from its surface, which then, cooling in the atmosphere, falls back on the Earth with anomalous downpours and hail. While in those places where magma comes close to the surface, we observe fires, which are difficult to extinguish, because in the depths all the processes are accompanied by the formation of gases. The climate crisis is worsening, and this is a common trouble. Urgent consolidation of the entire scientific community is required to address the global problem, the survival of humankind. For more details, please visit the Creative Society website.